y'all need to stop trying so hard to hit so hard all the time. And I say that not to be disparaging, but because for the overwhelming majority of y'all, you don't know how to hit hard and you don't have the ability to hit hard. Now, I don't know all of you. Maybe some of my viewers are expert punchers and kickers and this video is going to be beneath you. In which case, thank you for still watching. All the support is very appreciated. But for the overwhelming majority of y'all, you don't know how to hit hard. And in today's video, we're going to go over how to actually do that and why it really doesn't matter that much in terms of your training. So make sure you're subscribed and you have notifications turned on, and let's get started. Boom! The word of the day is going to be tension, as in keeping your body and your muscles so flexed, trying to hold that stance that your coach is constantly talking to you about, that you're not able to efficiently and quickly move from point A to point B. Whether we're talking about punches or kicks, you're so obsessed with keeping your body flexed and staying in this ready stance that you're tense. And I don't just mean that physically, I mean emotionally, mentally, you're tense. You can't move quickly from this position. Now, tension is the inverse of what you want when you're striking. Again, whether we're talking about punches or kicks, tension is going to slow you down. Keeping your body completely flexed here is going to do nothing to help you get this hand to your opponent. Now, you need to have a little bit of it, just enough to keep your hands up, but you don't want to lock yourself in place and be unable to move. All that does is stress you out and ultimately make you more tired even while you're doing less work. So don't be so tense from this position that moving is almost impossible and hitting someone is just a pipe dream. You want to have just enough tension to keep your hands up. And when you throw, you want to be loose. You want to think of your body like a whip. I know that's a metaphor that a lot of martial artists use, but it really is the best metaphor for how to throw a strike. Think about it. When you crack a whip, as you draw the rope up into the air, the rope itself is loose. It is relaxed. But then as you crack it, we hear that sonic boom. That's the rope going taut and going completely straight. That is it literally breaking the sound barrier and being tense for just a fraction of a second right before it comes back to its relaxed state. Your punches and your kicks are the exact same. So hopefully I'm paying enough attention in the editing room to put my little tension bar right there. Right here, I'm at about, let's say, 10% tension. As I throw my punch, I'm nice and relaxed, and then right as it makes contact, I flex and then bring it back. Again, I'm here. That's the golden zone for how you want to tense and relax your body. Tensing my body at the exact right second is where power comes from. It's not being here so tense that I'm pushing through mud whenever I throw my punches. Because even if that lands, it's not going to have a fraction of the power as that quick snap would have. There should be 2 steps of tension when you're throwing your punch. You should be here, nice and relaxed, and then here, tense, and right back. So position 1, loose, position 2, tense, and back to loose. But if I start out tense, then I have position 1, tense, rigid, then I go loose and tense again, then I come back to here. That's now 3 steps. So I'm adding unnecessary steps to what I need to do when I punch. Back in the day, I used to say things like, you need to relax. You need to be relaxed when you're throwing your punches. And that's true, but can anybody tell me what relaxed punching actually looks like? Physically, can you tell me what you need to do to relax? Exactly, it's different for everybody. So I've stopped saying you need to relax, and I've started saying you need to loosen up. You need to physically be loose. And normally when I say that, I advocate everyone hunch over and swing their arms, swing their hips. Because to be able to do this, I have to have loose, untense arms. Then I transfer that feeling back up to how I feel when I have my hands up. Then from here, I have my little noodle arm here, and I throw it forward, tense at the very end, and then bring it back. Again, I'm teaching my athletes how to be loose, not relaxed, loose. A really good cue that I learned to learn how to loosen up is to pay attention to your hands when you're standing in your guard. A lot of people, when they first get started, keep their hands clenched in a fist. That way when they throw the punch, well, the work's already done. But to keep my hand in this fist, obviously I'm keeping tension in my hand. So if I learn to keep my hands loose, whether we're talking about in an MMA glove, bare knuckle, or in a boxing glove, if they're loose right here and only curve into a fist at the very end of the punch, then by nature, by definition, I'm only tense at the very end of my punch. So if you're worried that you're too tense from the beginning of your punch, learn to relax your hands, learn to keep them loose, and then tense at the very end. This all sounds great in theory, but it's time to put it into practice. We're going to do a drill that I call the 3-2-1 drill. What I mean by that is, I'm going to be here, and let's say we're talking about my cross. I'm going to throw my cross out, and tense my body as hard as I can for 1, 2, 3 seconds. Then I bring it back and do it again. 1, 2, 3, bring it back. Again here, boom. I'm tense in my legs, in my butt, in my back, and yes, in my arm. Then I loosen up and come back to my slightly tense but relaxed position. Once I do that 5 to 10 times, I come in and go here. 1, 2, and then bring it back. Again here, 1, 2, bring it back. Another 5 to 10 reps like this, and I do now a 1 count. I come out here and go 1 and back, 1 and back. I guess I should call this a 3, 2, 1, 0 drill, because once you do 3, 2, 1, now it's time to do 0. So now I come out here and back. What I'm doing is teaching myself to hold tension only at the end of my punch, and then loosening and coming back to my on guard position. And I'm shortening the amount of time I have to be tense at the end of my strike, so that eventually I'm just tense for a fraction of a second and right back in my guard. So if you're worried that you're too tense all the time, give the 3, 2, 1 drill a shot. Let me know how it works out for you. Now at this point, I need to make a difference between tension and strength. Because a minute ago, I said that tension is the inverse of what you want when you're striking. But you always want to be strong, which sounds confusing. Take a look at this deadlift. For me to pick up this barbell, I need to be tense from the moment I wrap my hands around the bar. I need to be tense through my legs, through my butt, through my back, and through my shoulders to go from position 1, where I'm grabbing the bar, to position 2, where I'm standing upright with the bar in my hands. I need to be tense the entire time. But whether we're talking about 45 pounds, 135 pounds, or in my case, 835 pounds, my body needs to physically be strong enough to actually lift that weight, or else I'm just going to stall out at the bottom. The important thing to remember is that the technique of weightlifting is not the same technique as fighting, because that is a constant exertion of force to pick up a weight. Whereas with fighting, it's a quick start and a quick stop. So, like I said, strength will help you in your striking, in your grappling, in your throwing, doesn't matter. Strength is always an attribute and never a detriment. Now right here is where everything we just talked about goes out the window. Because when you're shadow boxing, when you're fighting the air, people understand, okay, I need to be loose. I need to throw without tension. All right, I got that concept. But now, I got something to hit. I want to make some noise. I want to hit it hard. My gym crush is walking by, and I want her to see me working out. So I'm going to come here, and I'm going to really make sure that bag is swinging. Forget all my form. I'm just going to throw some strikes. But what are you doing? What's the point of doing that? If the point of coming to practice is to practice, and the minute you get to hit something, you're just focused on hitting with power, then you just threw that all out the window. Now, there are certain times when you need to do rounds where you focus on power, but not at the cost of technique. So when you're working the bag, only tense at the very end of your strike, and try not to be pushing the bag away from you. If that bag is dancing every which way but where you want it to go, that means you're not striking it, you're pushing it. And that's not what we want our bag to be doing. We don't want it to be swinging around hitting the person next to us. We want to have control of the tool we're working with and know exactly where it's going to be when we want it to be there. If you're trying to make every shot land with power, I'm going to get super mad because I have to say it over and over and over again. Not every punch, not every kick is supposed to be a knockout shot. Not every punch, not every kick is supposed to be a knockout shot.
Not every punch, not every kick is supposed to be a knockout shot.
But you should still be trying to land solid shots. And what I mean by that is, don't do point karate, unless you're doing point karate, right? But if I come here and I throw my punch, yeah, I wasn't worried about power with that punch, but I barely tapped that bag. I'm not trying to just touch the bag. I want to throw some solid strikes. I want to have good landing on them. And to do that, I need to make sure that I'm tensing at the exact right moment. That should sound familiar. So when I'm working the bag, I want to drive my tension at the exact right second. I want to make sure that I'm not just touching the surface of it, but I'm trying to dig in a little bit with my strikes. Not so much that I push the bag away from me, but just enough to where if that was a person, they would feel the strike. And it's totally possible to be an extremely fast, snake-like fighter, but not have any power behind it, because you're very good at pulling your punches at the last second. And in the certain game of point karate, that's awesome. If you just need to get a tap, great. But if you're trying to learn to fight, you need to make sure your shots are solid. You need to make sure they're actually landing where you want them to land, the way you want them to land. So you can't throw your punches with power. You can't throw your punches without power. There's a little gray area there, and I trust that you'll figure out what that area is. If you feel like you learned something today, and you're enjoying the videos that I'm putting out, Be sure to subscribe, tap the notification bell, like, share, and leave a comment. And if you want to show support to the channel, head on over to combatsd.square.site and pick up a t-shirt, coffee mug, crop top, or anything else we have on the channel. By now, hopefully, our new shirt has dropped, and I'd be very excited for everyone to pick one up. But if you want to show more support and you want to pick up a pair of gloves like these, head on over to combatcorner.com and use code BBHeavyHands at checkout for 10% off your entire order. I get a little kickback of that, which helps me and helps the channel, and therefore helps you. This has been Rob in Combat Self-Defense. I want to thank you for all the hard work. Thank you for the hard work yet to be done, and I'll see you next time.